need you to turn around and place your hands on the wall.
Officer, there's been a misunderstanding. She called about a check.
Do it now. Hands on the wall.
I am compliant. You can check my ID.
Stop talking! Do not resist.
Oh, hell no.
He had the check.
I am not resisting. My bar card and ID are in the briefcase, please.
Rebecca Stone had no idea what she just walked into. In the next 90 minutes, her career would end, her manager's license would be taken away forever, and First National Bank would pay $4.2 million. The quiet man in the suit she accused of fraud was not some random customer. He was Thomas Wright, a senior partner at one of the city's best law firms. Wright had spent 15 years winning cases against hospitals and big insurance companies. That million-dollar check Stone called fake, it was money he earned. He knew civil rights law better than she knew bank rules. And the security cameras were recording everything, every single word Rebecca Stone was about to say. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments. Rebecca Stone had no idea who she just accused of fraud. Thomas Wright was 47 years old. He was a senior partner at Mitchell, Wright & Associates. His law firm focused on medical cases and civil rights. Wright went to Harvard Law School. He graduated in the top 10% of his class. For 15 years, he fought for people who were hurt by hospitals and doctors. His firm had won over $200 million for their clients. But here is the part that matters most. Wright had handled 6 cases against banks for racial discrimination. He won all 6 of them. He knew exactly what to do when someone treated him unfairly because of his race. The million-dollar check was his fee from a big case he just won. He planned to use some of that money to start a free legal clinic, a place where people who could not afford lawyers could get help. Wright had banked at First National for 8 years. He was a loyal customer. He had made large deposits before without any problems. Now here is what happened next. On this Tuesday morning, Thomas Wright was just trying to deposit a check he earned, at a bank where he had been a customer for almost a decade. Rebecca Stone had worked at First National Bank for 11 years. In that time, she built a reputation, but not the good kind. Stone was 43 years old. She managed the Riverside branch. She got promoted to manager 4 years earlier. Internal records would later show 7 formal complaints against Stone in 3 years. 5 of those complaints came from customers who were Black or Latino. This was a clear pattern. In 2021, Stone refused to cash a check for a Latino construction worker. She said his ID looked fake. It was real. The bank said sorry. Stone kept her job. In 2022, Stone called security on an elderly Black woman. The woman was waiting for her grandson. Her grandson worked at the bank. He was on his shift. Stone said the woman was loitering. In 2023, Stone demanded extra paperwork from a Black business owner. His wire transfer was completely normal. He closed his account and left. The bank tellers noticed the pattern. One employee even mentioned it when she quit. Staff called Stone a nickname behind her back. They called her Protocol Patty because she only seemed to remember the rules for certain customers. Let me know in the comments if you have ever seen someone like this at work. Every complaint was written down. None led to real punishment. First National had 7 chances to stop Rebecca Stone. They did nothing. But this time, Stone picked the wrong customer, and this time there would be nowhere to hide. Tuesday, March 14th. The time was 10:47 in the morning. First National Bank sat in a nice suburban neighborhood. The building had big windows. Inside, there were 4 teller stations and 2 offices. Soft jazz played through the speakers. Fresh coffee sat on a table for customers. It was a quiet Tuesday. Only 6 customers were in the bank. 3 tellers worked the windows. Their names were Marcus Chen, Diane Williams, and Patricia Gomez. A security guard named Raymond Torres stood near the door. Rebecca Stone sat in her glass office. At 10:47, Thomas Wright walked in. He wore a charcoal gray suit. He carried a leather briefcase. He walked to the commercial deposit line. Marcus Chen recognized him right away. Wright had been in the bank 2 months ago. Chen smiled and greeted him. Wright handed over the check, $1 million from Harrington Insurance. Chen's eyes went wide. The amount was huge. Bank rules said any deposit over $100,000 needed a manager to look at it. Chen flagged the check. Rebecca Stone came out of her office. She saw Wright. She saw the check. Her face changed, first suspicion, then certainty. Stone did not ask Chen about the customer's history. She did not check Wright's account. She did not call Harrington Insurance. That call would have taken 3 minutes. Instead, she made a choice based on something else. If stories like this matter to you, hit that subscribe button right now. Stone walked up to Wright at the window. She asked to see the check. Wright handed it to her. "It's a settlement check from my law practice," he said. Stone looked at the check. She frowned. "Settlement check for $1 million. "Yes, from Harrington Insurance. I'm an attorney." "Do you have any proof? You should have this." Wright pulled out his business card. He showed her his bar card. "That is the card lawyers carry to prove they are real lawyers." He explained the case. Stone did not care. Anyone can print a business card. "You can call Harrington," Wright said. "They will verify it." Stone ignored him. "Sir, checks like this don't just appear. I need you to wait. I've been banking here for 8 years. Check my account history." "That's not the issue." "Then what is the issue?" Stone did not answer. She told Wright to step away from the window. He did what she asked. He stayed calm. "I'm calling someone who can handle this," Stone said. "Handle what? It's a real check." Stone walked to her office. Wright could see her through the glass. She picked up the phone. The teller Marcus Chen looked nervous. An older white customer nearby asked him, "Is there a problem with his check?" Chen whispered, "Not that I can see." Another customer, a woman in her 60s, shook her head in disbelief. Stone came back out. "Police are on their way." Wright could not believe it. "You called the police for a deposit for suspected fraud. Please don't make this difficult." Then Stone said the words that would cost her everything. She looked at Thomas Wright and said, "People like you don't just have this kind of money." Type justice in the comments if you think what she said was wrong. What Stone did not know was that the security system recorded audio. Every word she said was saved in perfect digital sound. At 11:04, 2 police officers walked into the bank. Their names were James Hernandez and Michael Park. Stone rushed over to them. She pointed at Wright. "That man is trying to deposit a fake check, $1 million. The officers walked toward Wright. They asked for his ID. Wright stayed calm. He handed over his driver's license. Stone cut in. "He says he's a lawyer. I don't believe it." Officer Hernandez told Wright to have a seat, just while we sort this out. Wright asked a simple question, "Am I being detained?" The officer said it was just procedure. Wright sat down in the lobby. Every customer could see him. Stone came back with another idea. "For everyone's safety," she said, "he should be handcuffed." The officers put handcuffs on Thomas Wright, right there in the lobby, at a bank where he had been a customer for 8 years. Here is the part that still makes me angry. For 90 minutes, Wright sat in handcuffs. Customers walked in and out. They stared at him. Stone kept talking to the officers. "People like him don't have this kind of money," she said. "These checks are always fake," she said. "I've seen this before." But here is what Stone never did. She never called Harrington Insurance. She never checked Wright's account history. She never talked to the main office. She never followed the normal steps for big deposits. 10 minutes in, a customer named Linda Martinez started recording on her phone. The teller Marcus Chen quietly wrote down the time of each thing that happened. 2 other customers took photos. The bank's own cameras caught everything too. At 12:31, Sandra Mitchell walked into the bank. She was Wright's law partner. She had been calling his phone for an hour. Mitchell demanded to speak with Stone. She showed her own lawyer credentials. Then she called the bank's regional director directly. The director called Harrington Insurance. How long did it take to verify the check? 3 minutes. That is all it took. The check was 100% real. Harrington confirmed Wright was supposed to get the money. The funds were ready. Stone's face went pale. She started to backtrack. "I was just following the rules," she said. "Anyone would have been suspicious. I was trying to protect the bank." The officers took off the handcuffs at 12:38. Officer Hernandez looked at Stone and asked, "Ma'am, did you try to verify this check before calling us?" Stone said nothing. Wright rubbed his wrists. He looked at Stone. His voice was calm but firm. "I'm going to need copies of your security footage, all of it." He turned to Sandra Mitchell. "Call the office, we're going to be busy." Stone was starting to understand how badly she messed up. She had not just made a mistake. She had handcuffed a civil rights lawyer, a lawyer who had won 6 cases against banks just like this one, a lawyer who would never forget the words, "People like you don't have this kind of money." Let me know in the comments what you would have done in Wright's place. By 2:00 that afternoon, the regional director arrived. Her name was Catherine Walsh. She came to the branch herself. Walsh watched the security footage. She talked to Marcus Chen, Diane Williams, and Patricia Gomez. She talked to the security guard, Raymond Torres. Then she pulled Rebecca Stone's work file. Stone's story fell apart fast. Stone claimed she followed normal rules for big deposits, but the rules say you must call the company that wrote the check. Stone never made that call. Stone claimed Wright would not cooperate, but the video showed Wright calmly answering every question. He offered many ways to prove the check was real. Stone claimed she had no way to know the check was good, but a 3-minute phone call would have told her everything. 8 years of account records would have shown Wright's history of big deposits. Then Walsh found the pattern. 7 complaints against Stone in 3 years. 5 of them came from Black or Latino customers. All of them had been ignored or brushed aside. One employee even mentioned Stone's behavior when she quit. Walsh made her decision quickly. Stone was put on leave right away. The security footage was saved and backed up. All witnesses were asked to write down what they saw. The main legal team was told. The PR team got ready for questions. Stone's last moments at the branch were quiet. She had to give up her keys and badge. She collected her things from her office. She left through the back door. She did not speak to Wright. Wright was still in the building. He was finally making his deposit. Marcus Chen handled it. Chen looked at Wright. "Mr. Wright, I'm so sorry. I should have said something." Wright nodded. "You're not the one who should be saying sorry." Wright left the bank at 3:15. He shook hands with the customers who watched everything happen. Linda Martinez gave him her phone number. "Whatever you need," she said. "I saw everything." But the story was far from over. Linda Martinez had recorded for more than an hour, and she was about to share that video with the world. If you want to see more stories about people who got justice, hit that subscribe button now. By 4:00 that afternoon, Linda Martinez uploaded her video to Facebook. Her caption said, "Watched a black attorney get handcuffed at First National for depositing his own money." By 5:00, the video had 2,000 views and 400 shares. By 7:00, local community groups were spreading it everywhere. By 9:00, a local news station picked up the story. By 11:00, the video had 89,000 views. By midnight, national news outlets were calling Wright's law firm. By the next morning, the video had over 500,000 views. It was trending everywhere. The final count was huge. Facebook had 340,000 views and 45,000 shares. Twitter had 180,000 views. Instagram had 95,000 views. Over 50 TikTok users made response videos. People were angry. The comments showed it. One person wrote, "This is exactly why I closed my account there." Another said, "She said people like him on camera in 2024. A comment with 15,000 likes said, "That man showed more grace than I ever could." The local NAACP chapter demanded answers. News stations from CNN to local papers covered the story. First National Bank released a statement 36 hours later. They said they take discrimination seriously. They said the employee was no longer with the company. They said they were reviewing their rules. People did not buy it. The response was, "Too little, too late." Stone deleted all her social media accounts. She did not talk to reporters. Her family said nothing. Share this video if you think others need to see what happened. 3 days later, Thomas Wright held a press conference, but he was not there to talk about himself. 1 week after the incident, on March 21st, Thomas Wright filed a lawsuit. He sued First National Bank. He also sued Rebecca Stone personally. The lawsuit listed racial discrimination, defamation, false imprisonment, and emotional distress. He filed in federal court under civil rights law. Wait until you hear what the lawyers found during the case. They found the 7 complaints against Stone. They found emails showing the bank knew about her pattern. They found her training records. Stone had taken bias training. She failed the test twice. 3 other customers came forward. They had similar stories. The bank's own data showed a problem. Stone's branch flagged more suspicious activity for black customers than any other branch. The evidence was overwhelming. 94 minutes of video with audio. Stone saying, "People like him don't have this kind of money." Linda Martinez's phone video. Written statements from 6 customers. Statements from 3 employees. 5 months later, in August, they reached a settlement. The total was $4.2 million, $2.5 million for the harm done to Wright, $1.5 million as punishment, $200,000 for lawyer fees. But money was not the only result. First National had to create new training for all 340 branches. Stone lost everything. She was fired with no extra pay. The state took away her banking license. She was named in the lawsuit and had to pay part of the damages herself. No major bank will hire her now. The judgment will stay on her record for 7 years. First National made changes. All employees must now take bias training. Before calling police about fraud, staff must call the company that wrote the check. They must review customer history before making any accusation. They created a $10 million fund for community programs. They hired an outside expert to review all branches. Wright spoke about the settlement. "This was never about money. I'm a successful lawyer. I didn't need this." He continued, "But the next person Rebecca Stone targets might be a teacher, a nurse, a small business owner, someone who can't fight back. This settlement sends a message. There are consequences." Thomas Wright stood at the press conference in August. He had won, but his face showed something deeper than victory. "I've been black in America for 47 years, he said. "I know what suspicion feels like. But sitting in that lobby in handcuffs while customers walked past, that was different. I kept thinking, what if I wasn't a lawyer? What if I didn't have Sandra to call? What if no one was recording?" His voice stayed steady. "I've spent 15 years fighting for people who have been wronged. I never expected to become one of my own clients. My degree, my suit, my credentials, none of it mattered to Rebecca Stone. She saw what she wanted to see." Wright had a message for workers. "To everyone who's been humiliated at work, at a store, at a bank, you matter. Your phone is your witness. Document everything. The law is on your side." He had a message for businesses too. "Train your people, check your biases, review your data. The next person might be recording, the next video might be yours." Wright thanked the people who helped. Linda Martinez for recording, Marcus Chen for trying to do right, Sandra Mitchell for showing up when he needed her most. Then he said the words that stuck with everyone. "I had every advantage. Harvard, 15 years of practice, a law firm with my name on the door, and I still ended up in handcuffs. Imagine what happens to everyone else." This case showed something bigger than one bad manager. Studies show black customers are 80% more likely to have their checks flagged as suspicious. This is true even when everything else is the same. 41% of black Americans say they were treated with suspicion at a bank in the past year. Thomas Wright had money, skills, and attention. Most victims have none of these things. That is why this pattern keeps happening. Banks pay settlements, people get fired, but the system stays the same. Real change means removing human bias from the process. It means consequences that actually hurt. So let me ask you, do banks actually care about fairness, or do they only care when videos go viral? Do we hold people accountable, or do we let big companies write checks and move on? Do we believe bias training works, or is it just something companies do to look good? Because if we do not demand real change, if we do not require rules that take human bias out of the picture, if we do not make employees personally responsible for their choices. Then we are just waiting for the next Rebecca Stone, the next Thomas Wright, the next 90 minutes in handcuffs in front of strangers. The difference is this: most victims will not be civil rights lawyers with 15 years of experience and a law partner to call. Comment below if you believe employees like Rebecca Stone should face personal consequences, not just getting fired, real accountability. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We are going to keep exposing these patterns. We are going to keep demanding better. We are going to keep fighting for dignity, for respect, for real consequences. This is not just about one bank manager in one branch on one Tuesday morning. It is about all of us, and the question we have to answer: what are we willing to accept? See you in the next one.